So a lot of people ask me, what would you do all day if you're homeless? Um, and well, if I'm living in here, this is basically like living in a tiny house. So I'm not worried about it. I'll have plenty to do, more than plenty to do. Right here you see I've got sewing supplies, my sewing machine. I've got my artwork, coloring books, and drawing pad. The list goes on. I've actually got so many different craft projects. A lot of them are at my storage place or they're inside my client's house right now, as long as my client's house is still an option. Not worried about it. You see this table? This table will serve me very well. I can use it. I have another one just like it in the closet of this rig, and I can set it over here if I want. But the point is that I'm not worried about it at all. I have more to do than I will ever be able to get done. There are going to be times, I'm sure, that I'm not going to have internet access. The internet is so bad here, sometimes I don't anyway, but I know I'm not going to always have internet access. I have DVDs that I can watch on my computer. I have tons and tons of books in storage. I mean, I've got so many books. I just happen to have a vintage copy of Macbeth here, but I've got so many books, it's incredible. So I'm not worried about what am I going to do. I also have things on iTunes, including radio plays, several Shakespeare plays. I'm just not worried about what I'm going to do all day. What I'm worried about is, how am I going to do the things I want to do? If this can be fixed up and I can live in it, great. Then that's great. That's half the problem. The other half is, where do I park? And hopefully I will be able to find some place just as nice as this, where when you look out the window, I know it's hard to tell, all you see are trees. And a lot of times deer and all kinds of animals going by. I also would love to be able to get a night vision camera so I could take videos of animals at night. That would be wonderful. But, I've got everything set up so that I could craft here. I can type on my computer. I have plenty to write about, that's for sure. So between knitting and crocheting and coloring and drawing and sewing and doll rerouting and restoration and costumes and, reading, and just the list goes on. I have no shortage of things to do. When you hear or see interviews on YouTube with homeless people talking about how they became alcoholic when I didn't drink before I was homeless, but you have to fill your days. Well, you know what? Even if I didn't have this rig and I was living in my minivan, I would still find ways to occupy my time, and that would include probably things like reading and, again, knitting, crocheting, drawing, coloring. In fact, I often do those things in my van, even now. So, I'm not worried about how to fill my time at all. That is the least of my problems. I would like it if my life were so settled right now that all I had to do was wake up and say, what am I going to work on today? That would be a nice thing for once to be able to do. But I can't, because right now my mind is completely focused on how long am I going to be able to stay at my client's now that she's been gone for a couple months. Getting back and forth to my storage place, because I have a lot of work to do there. I mean, I've got so much work to do there, it's insane. I've got to eliminate a whole storage unit to get it down to just one, because right now there's two of them there, and I need to have just one. And I have to eliminate a lot, and I gave away so many belongings I could have filled a third storage place. So I've given away a lot. I got a lot more to give away. still selling things on eBay. That takes up a lot of my time, so that would be something else I would do, assuming I have internet access. So how to fill my time? Not an issue. The questions that plague me are basically, will I be able to live in here? And if so, where will I park? I just need a safe place in a quiet location like this so I can park and be left alone and just work on my stuff, you know? So definitely, no one has to worry about me getting involved with things like drugs and alcohol. I've actually never been drunk in my life. I do not like alcohol. I don't like the taste of alcohol. I don't like any of that. I don't ever want to know what it is to be drunk or high or any of that. I'm not interested. I want full and total control of my faculty at every given moment. The closest I guess I'll ever know to being in an altered state would be the gas you get at the dentist. And that would be about it for me because I don't do anything else. You know, and having autism, I know a lot of people with autism, high functioning autism, that use drugs and alcohol. It certainly doesn't make you impervious. In some ways it can make you more vulnerable to those things. But I'm a person who deals in logic, and I cannot see how a homeless person's life is made better by using drugs and alcohol. I was abused as a child, and I had every opportunity to use drugs and alcohol in my teens and early 20s, and I never saw the bottom line in it. I always looked at it as, this is not a good idea. And I watched other people do it, and all I saw was, I watched them deteriorate. I watched their beauty go away. I watched their youth go away. Most of them are non-productive individuals. I can actually be more productive right here in this little tiny, you know, vehicle on wheels here, this little house on wheels. I can be more productive here than a lot of people I know that have a full-size apartment, you know, but they don't do anything all day. You know, they come home from work and veg out and don't do anything, or they get stoned or drunk or whatever they do, and they're not productive. And that's what you want to do with your time. Is your business. Completely your business, you know, whatever, to each his own. But for me, I need to be productive, and I need to be busy, and I need to I'm not saying I'm a good artist, but I just need to do my art and writing and sewing and all the things that I do. That's my drug, if you will. That's what I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to making things and to being productive and to being an artist. And that also includes entertainment. It'd be nice if I could get back into that. So I don't see how my answers are ever going to be, you know, substance abuse. So for those of you worried about, you know, things like that, I have never drank alcohol in my life. I'm certainly not going to start now. You know, but as far as like, and honestly, if I were ever going to do it, I would have been doing it by now, because believe me, you guys have no idea how hard my life has been and how hard it is right now. So if I was ever going to do it, it would be now. And never felt compelled to use that as an option. So anyway, hope that answers the question of how I would fill my time.